So one of the videos that I said I would do would be like a kind of guide to the tools that I've used during the van build, and I thought the best way to do that would be to go over like kind of basic tools, stuff that maybe you already have, talk about a couple of more, I don't want to call them specialist tools because that's not really the case, but more van specific. And I'm painfully aware that I'm filming this in my shed and I still feel like a bit of an idiot talking in front of camera, so if it's a bit quiet, that's why. But my shed's a bit chaotic. I'm going to try and keep it brief because I hate long YouTube videos. I might go off on a wee tangent about a few things. It could end up there's two parts to this video, because stuff like saws, there's millions of them and they all do different things, but I'll try and, there's not going to be any reviews or anything like that, it's not really my kind of thing, but hopefully it'll be helpful, like, because you could spend loads of money. I mean, you could spend a fortune on various tools and things when in reality you could probably get by on a few basics. But start with the simplest thing, measuring tape, sorry. Measure twice, cut once is a lie as far as I'm concerned. You can measure it 20 times and cut it and it'll still be wrong, in my case anyway. Or I'll measure it and cut it fine, but it turns out the maths is wrong and it doesn't fit anyway. But still, obviously marking tools, this is really simplistic and it's probably a bit patronising, but I thought if I start for the simple and work up. But pencils for your wood and all that kind of stuff. Best thing I've found, cheap Sharpies. Like you can get 12 to 20 of these in a pack for like the pound shop, B&M bargains, stuff like that, because you'll no doubt leave the lid off them and they'll dry up. So actual Sharpies, it's a waste of money as far as I'm concerned, but they're good for marking the metal in the van, when you're doing your floor and stuff like that and you want a more permanent mark than pencil, things like that. I think these are called fast square, speed square, roofer square, whatever you want to call it. It's for making sure things are square. If your van's anything like mine, nothing will be square, it'll all be curves. But when you're building framework and stuff like that, that's where this comes in. Making sure that your lines are all parallel and stuff, and that's where it's handy. And then obviously when you move on to building your furniture and things like that, it's easier to build it square outside the van and then take it in and adjust it to what you need, because you'll be cutting to a lot of contours and stuff like that, but the original frame should be square, especially your drawers and things like that if you want to work on runners. The thing that I've found really helpful, trim removal tool set. See, that's right way around. It's probably back to front because of the way I'm recording, but basically takes off the plastic panel trim in your car, van, whatever, without you snapping all those wee pins and stuff, because I mean they're relatively cheap to buy, but it's ideal not to have to replace them. That's good for especially when you come to do, if you're doing 4-way stretch carpet, taking the trim off, carpeting behind it, putting it back on, things like that. Power drill, power driver. Ideally, if you can have both, you can put driving bits in your drill if you only have the drill. You just end up swapping. You get frustrated because you're drilling, then you're driving, and you need to swap backwards and forwards. So if you can have both, that's really helpful. Mine's are kind of mid-range price-wise. They're Aldi. They both came in the set. They've been really good. So they're not going to do product reviews or anything like that, but they've battery life, everything power-wise, they're brand new. With things like drill bits and stuff, drilling metal, it pays to spend a wee bit more with your drill bits, because they blunt really quickly. Obviously there's loads of stuff online about drilling into metal, about speeds and stuff like that, but slightly better quality drill bits are less likely to snap. A thing I've used a lot of is countersink bits, so for when I've been doing my furniture, obviously countersinking so that your screws sit flush, things like that. I get a couple of sets, I think one was Lidl and one was online. I'll show you one actually, put them in here. Kind of just look like that. Countersink's the end. If you do any kind of woodworking, you'll know stuff like that anyway. Another thing that I bought that I didn't have before that has been brilliant actually is a pocket hole jig. Mine's got tape on it because I was using it recently. I bought the Trend. You can buy Craig, you can buy cheaper ones, it just depends. I probably, if I'd done it again, would buy the bench mounted version of this, because clamping this on, I've got a faceplate clamp and it's quite good, but it would just be easier to have the bench one. This basically puts, well, pocket holes in your wood so that you hide the screws almost. If you Google pocket hole joinery, I've used it pretty much most of the furniture I'm building uses pocket hole. If you're using anything thicker than probably for about 15mm ply, pocket hole's great. It's not so good in 12. The wood's too thin, it just strips out. But it's a big long drill bit. You mount that on, drill in through it, and it gives you, I don't know if you can see, it gives you a kind of angled hole, which then hides your screws. If you do that, and then you've got a long driver to go with it, doing that you'll need to buy specific pocket screws. I bought a multi, like a kind of mixed set initially, because I didn't know what sizes I'd be using a lot of, and then once I get the kind of idea of what I was doing, kind of bulk bought the more common sizes I was using. But consumables could be a whole different video, the amount of stuff like that you can buy. Saws. So I do a wee bit of woodwork anyway, as you can see, my shed, so I had quite a few, a lot of hand-me-down saws as well, but basic handsaw, it's great for loads of stuff, but cutting straight with a handsaw takes skill. If you can get one, I mean, I don't really know if you can see it in the frame, but like I call it a miter saw, but cross-cut, something like that. My dad gave me mine. Just, you can do loads of cuts the same length time and time again, it's really accurate. You can cut miters, you can cut loads of different stuff on it, and it's pretty straightforward. The next one I've used a lot of is jigsaw. Mine is just a Black & Decker. The thing I would say about the jigsaw is buy decent blades. I used to use just the factory blades that came with it. Spend a wee bit of money, buy decent blades, it'll make a massive difference, especially if you're using that to cut metal. So I've used that for cutting holes for the sky roof, for the skylight, sorry. Obviously cutting the ply for contours in the van. Loads of uses when it comes to doing the van, but there's a big difference with the blades. A tip that somebody gave me, if you're cutting ply, particularly kind of cheaper ply, and it splinters quite along the cut line if you're cutting against the grain, score it with a Stanley knife before you make the cut. It'll kind of reduce that splintering you get. When it comes to ply, again, that could be a whole other video. Loads of people say use birch, lightweight, all that kind of stuff. It's expensive, it's hard to come by. I've bought the majority of my ply from builders, merchants and B&Q, depending on where I can get it cheapest. I'm not going to say that it's great because I don't know longevity wise whether it'll weigh out better than the more expensive stuff, but for me it suited my budget and it suited accessibility for me. It's entirely up to you what you do. I'm realising I'm kind of rambling on about things, but another thing that I bought, this is one of the ones that I feel was a wee bit of a waste of money. Now I did use it, I'd watched loads of videos that said this was the way to go when you were attaching your wooden frame, but it is sorry about the QVC style presentation in this video by the way. A rivet nut tool, so if I hold it up, see it? So basically what it is puts rivets in, but the rivets that it puts in are threaded. So you can put a threaded hole anywhere there's already a hole in your van. And the idea of that was when I was fixing the battens for the framing in my van, it meant I wouldn't need to drill as many holes in the metal in my van. That was the plan. In reality, the factory holes in your van generally aren't in line. If they're no straight, they're different sizes. 9 times out of 10 you'll end up using self-tapping screws anyway. So whilst I have used this in some sections of the van, I don't think I would buy one again. I actually probably will sell this on eBay, I think, because I don't spend a lot of money on it, but I can't see me using it a great deal in the future. If your van's got loads of already drilled, like factory drilled holes, it's great. It's, as I say, it gives you a threaded hole for you to screw your battens onto. The issue with that is though also is actually when you come to lining the batten up. So you put your threaded hole in, then you drill a hole in your wood and you put a nut through that, or a screw with a thread on it, like a well, and lining those holes up on your wooden batten is an absolute nightmare. You have to put hanger bolts in, you have to line the wood up against it, you need to drill those holes perfectly straight to the right size. It just causes more problems than it's worth. So I would say that whilst it's a good idea, it didn't suit me, and I probably wouldn't buy it again. I skipped there for screws to other tools because I'm trying to rush through, for saws to other tools because I'm trying to rush through this. So, but another saw that I bought that I wouldn't say was a waste of money. I've used it quite a lot actually. More recently, when I first bought it, I thought it was a waste of money. Drag it out. Plunge saw. I bought mine. It was on special. I think it was like, I don't know, Lidl or Aldi, one of them. Came with a track. I bought it instead of buying a table saw because I didn't have the space to store a table saw. In reality, you need a lot of space to use a plunge saw, so in actual fact I'd have been better buying the table saw and working with it, because the setup that you need to use the track and the plunge saw, it's just as much space as a table saw would take up. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've used it to cut a lot of ply, it cuts really good straight lines. I could have done all that with a table saw, and I could have done a lot more with a table saw. Loads of stuff when it comes to the joinery side of things, like putting dados in and things like that. You can do that all on a table saw. You can't do it with plunge saw. So if that's a kind of decision that you're looking at, it's no more space even than a table saw. And actually, there's more versatility from a table saw. So I wouldn't buy that again. Another thing that I use a lot that I didn't buy actually specifically for the van, I had it anyway. If I can reach it, because the shed's a bit of a mess, so I don't know if I can reach it. Router, basic palm router. I actually got mine as a Christmas gift when I first started woodworking. Loads of different things, doing your shelving, doing your drawers, round edge on, like, cause the ply that I'm putting in a lot of my furniture, I want the edge rounded so that it's not sharp. Really versatile. I've just got a palm. I actually do have a big, like, full size router and a wee router table, but I've mainly used the palm router because I'm working outside. And it's a really good, as I say, versatile thing. Another one I don't have here, a multi-tool, kind of like a long, looks like a grinder almost, but you can put like saws and sanding and all the scrapers on the end of it. I bought one of those when I first started doing the van. It was really good for different wee jobs, like once you've put ply on, if you need to take a wee nick out it and things like that. I don't have it because I burnt the motor out on it no long after having it. I've used my dad's quite a lot though, so if you have a multi-tool, that's really helpful. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is crimping tools. So I have multiple crimping tools. Any time I saw a crimping tool that was on offer, I would buy it because I knew at some point I was going to have to do electrics. Don't do that. Don't buy hundreds of them. Don't be like me. See what you need first and then. But one that my dad bought, actually, I've got it here. He got it second hand on eBay. I think it's like a kind of Chinese. He didn't get it second hand on eBay. He got it in Gumtree. It's a kind of Chinese fake version of the real one almost, but it works just the same. And it is, sorry, it's heavy. I'll try and hold it up for you. It's a crimping tool, but it is a heavy duty hydraulic crimping tool that comes with different crimping templates that you fit in here. Where this was really good is if you're going to do your own electrics, your own wiring and stuff, and when it comes to doing your battery terminals, that's really the kind of thing that you need. Small crimping tools won't handle the thickness of the cable, because I think it's like 16mm cable or something like that. So that really was, we needed it for that. I don't know prices, you can look them up on eBay. You can buy like the real ones for a fortune, but this, as I say, was like a kind of Chinese copy. It's done the job just exactly the same. Whether it will last, I mean, I don't foresee me using it for a great deal of other projects, let's face it. I don't think I'll be doing another van for a long time. But it's definitely, if you're doing your own electrics, it's something to consider. Even stuff like that, picking things up like that on Gumtree Marketplace, people that have done projects that have used them once and then sell them again, that tends to be where we look for stuff, and it's where I'll probably sell a lot of the stuff that I've used once and things like that as well. I'll talk a wee bit about consumables, but as I say, that could be a whole other video. So another thing, silicone gun. No, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but get a decent one of them, because you'll do so much sealing and gluing and all that kind of stuff. These cheap crap metal ones will annihilate your hands, because the silicone, the minute the temperature drops slightly, silicone's really hard to get out the tube. I tend to sit mine, if it's a nice day, sit the silicone in the sun for a wee while, try and let it warm up. Some people put it in a bucket of warm water, makes it a bit easier, things like that. Very quickly, consumables. That's Sikaflex, that's 522. So pretty much every video I watched online said use Sikaflex for sealing, gluing, things like that. 522 is specifically for like camper vans, motorhomes. I think it's got a higher UV resistance, but I'm not 100%, you would need to kind of look at it. We use this on doing my skylight, fixing the awning rail that's on my van, sealing various bits and bobs. I've used basic silicone to seal some holes in the floor, things like that. I don't have it here, but I've also used Tiger Seal for different bits, because it's black and it's a really strong bond. But I buy a decent gun, like, thing for using. If you're doing carpet lining, Trimfix adhesive, it's like heat resistant contact adhesive, spray it on, it's great. I've used it for loads of stuff that's not particularly van. If you're a crafter, this stuff's brilliant. You'll use a lot more of it than you think you will. I mean, I ordered 6 tins, I'm sure it was, and I use them quite rapidly. They don't last well, like if you only use half a tin and then you store it, it's no great, so kind of be conscious of that when you're using it. I mentioned it before, but screws, so you will use, if you use pocket hole joinery, you'll use pocket hole screws, you'll use normal wood screws, you'll use metal screws, you'll use self-tappers. The list is endless. The way that I found that I done it was I would buy multi-packs initially with different sizes until I knew, like, right, that whole frame is going to be made out of 20mm wood, so I know this is the size of screw that I need, and I would order them in bulk. If you're kind of anyway handy inclined, you probably have a stash, but that's how I done it. Wood glue, like for putting your wee bit of extra security in your framing and stuff. Masking tape, I've used hundreds of it, marking out where my units were going, kind of marking out rough van plans. I went loads of different things. I went through a lot of it. I think that's everything that I was going to talk about. I can't think of anything else. There was more about consumables. I mean, basically you couldn't put it on a video. The amount of stuff that I've used and that I've bought and stuff that's went to waste. I would say Facebook, like Marketplace, Gumtree, eBay, those kind of places, I've bought a lot of stuff for there. I find that the specific conversion companies and stuff like that are really expensive in comparison. There's loads of electrical consumables you'll use, like wires, crimps, all that kind of stuff. I'll talk about that. I'm going to do a video about the electrical kit that I bought, so I'll talk about the crimps and things in that. But I have a look about. Loads of folk do van builds and they've got loads of stuff left over at the end and they sell it as job lots on Facebook, things like that. I think that's all the tools. I actually wrote a list so I was organised. I think that's everything. As I say, one thing that I did want to mention actually was, pardon me, if you're buying tools, depending on your budget, majority of my tools are corded, other than my drills. If I had the money, I would buy cordless. The thing with cordless is, if you want it to be good cordless, you need to spend a wee bit more money for kind of power and like usability and things like that. Tools have changed over the years. It used to be that corded, well, as far as I knew, corded was the way to go because you get more power and things like that, but obviously they're changing now, they're getting better. And if I had to do it again and I had the money, I'd buy cordless for a lot of things. Stuff like the jigsaw and things like that, it just makes life so much easier. You can take it out to the van and work on it without having to have power out at the van. I'm not an expert on any of this stuff, I'm just giving you what my opinion is in the hope that it maybe helps people like me who are just kind of starting doing their build, give you a rough idea of the things that you need to buy, the things that maybe you don't. As I said, certainly for me, things like if I'd known at the time that the plunge saw was crap in comparison to a table saw, I'd have bought a table saw, but I didn't. I bought a plunge saw, and if I was doing it again, I'd buy the table saw. So folk don't make the same mistakes as I did. Bye. Thanks for watching.